So this is our Little Biddy Gin Classic. Was the first gin that we made as part of our Little Biddy Gin range, produced by Reefton Distilling Co. And I guess the idea about this gin was trying to capture some of the West Coast landscape in the bottle for people to take away with them and sort of remember their experience of their time on the West Coast. So certainly we wanted to capture that feeling that you're out for a walk in the rainforest on a misty or rainy day, and sort of really experiencing those fresh fragrances that you'd get off the West Coast rainforest. So this gin is 40% ABV, uses 13 botanicals, and 5 of those are locally foraged for the morning that we distill, 4 of them being native plants, so that includes Tarata, which is native lemonwood, Horopito, which is a native pepper tree. We've also got Rimu, which is one of our native pine trees on the west coast, and Toatoa, a native subalpine shrub that grows around Reefton. And finally, we've got our Douglas Fir, which isn't a native plant, but it's an introduced conifer, which was actually sort of brought to the area with some of those early European settlers who came to sort of search for their fortune of gold. So kind of included as a bit of a homage to the past there. Yeah, and that's really responsible for some of the key flavours that you get with this gin. So we sort of start with a really bright palette of sort of citrus that's coming from the native lemonwood, the Douglas Fir, but also lemon peel, which is one of those classic gin botanicals, which is in the Little Biddy Gin Classic. You're then moving into a really nice sort of really strong pine resin note that's coming from not only the classic sort of juniper berries, but also some of those native plants as well, so Toatoa, Rimu, Douglas Fir. And then you're moving into a really nice sort of complex palette of spicy, sort of sweet, aromatic sort of finish, so almost a little bit of pine resin mixing in there too. So that spice is coming from things like cassia and cardamom, a couple of classic gin botanicals, but also the warmth coming from native Horopito, and that sweetness also coming from some of those classics such as licorice and angelica. So really quite a complex gin, something that you'd really want to mix with premium Indian style tonic, just for a really refreshing gin and tonic. But certainly we've described this as New Zealand's first sipping gin, so something that's really smooth just on its own, or over a couple of large cubes of ice is a really nice way to serve this gin too.